Hey guys, I'm a Forester here, and let me tell you, it is cold in South Carolina this morning. For the first time, I'm having to wear a long sleeve shirt making a video this fall. I have a topic that I hope will be of interest to you, and I'm going to have another conversation with my daughter in China. Carrie graduated from college and she got married in the middle of the Great Recession. And if you remember, full-time jobs with living wages were hard to come by in the U.S. back then. And in my opinion, she fell prey to the student loan scam. She and her husband dug a pretty big hole for themselves before they made the drastic decision to move overseas to Asia and teach English as a second language. Now, they've lived over there for 9 years, and they had a major happening this past week. They are finally debt-free. They've paid off their debt. Now, I give them credit because I don't know that I could do what they've done. And on top of everything else, they decided to start their family while they were over there, and we now have 2 wonderful grandchildren. So let me give her a call. I'm using WeChat, and it's going to be just a voice call. And I'll hold it to this mic so that you can hear. We thought we had lost WeChat, but we didn't after all.
Hello.
Hey, Carrie, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. I'm sitting on the deck, and it is cold out here. I don't know what the temperature is, but I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt. I wanted to say, first off, congratulations for getting out of debt. How does it feel?
It feels awesome. It is so cool to watch your bank account grow instead of, it's just more fun than watching a loan amount decrease.
Yeah, well, I didn't go into a lot of detail in the introduction, but whatever you feel comfortable saying, how big a hole did you dig, and how long did it take you to climb out of it?
So I changed my master's degree program 4 different times, and so the hole ended up being about $100,000. It was ridiculous. And so we paid off $62,000. Of course, you guys matched us for part of that journey, so that was a major help. And so the portion that my husband and I paid off ourselves was $62,000, and it took us 6 years and 1 month.
That was a long time, and one reason we helped is I was just afraid the debt was so large that it would be overwhelming. So that was our major factor in helping out. What was your income during that period of time that you were saving to pay off the debt?
Yeah, so that's pretty interesting because, the income doesn't convert well, even though it's a good salary here, but our official income was $21,000 up to $24,000 during those 6 years. However, there are lots of opportunities for side income here. So I think our best year we did about $40,000 actually.
Now you're talking U.S. dollars, right?
Yeah, U.S. dollars, definitely.
Yeah, and one of the problems that you had, it helped us, but it hurt you, is that the conversion rate, the Chinese yuan kept devaluing, and so you had to actually save more later in the payoff than you did early on, right?
Yeah, the exchange was about a 6-to-1 yuan to U.S. dollars, and now it's up about a 7-to-1. So yeah, it definitely sort of slowed us down as the exchange rates got less and less in our favor.
Yeah, it helped us because every time we went over there, which we went over there I think 12 times the last time I counted, and every time we went over it seemed like when I exchanged U.S. dollars for RMB, I always got more. So it helped to bring tourists over like us, but it hurt you when you were paying off a U.S. loan. So I didn't mention it, but you went to South Korea first, and you were there for how many years?
We were there for 2 years and 7 months.
And then you've been in China for how long?
We've been in China now for just over 6.5 years.
So did you start on your journey paying off the debt in South Korea or in China?
So we started it here in China about 6 months after we came to China. I was just finishing up my master's degree. And so right when I finally finished it is actually the week I graduated was also the week we started.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about it. What are the keys to getting out of debt?
Yeah, so, well, of course, we followed Dave Ramsey's method with the debt snowball. Now, our debt snowball is a little weird because, it was student loans and they were only divided across 5 different loans. So the bulk of the debt was all one loan. So I say we used the debt snowball, but it snowballed pretty quick. Plus, we had no minimum monthly payments because we technically have no taxable income. So it wasn't a traditional debt snowball, I would say, from that standpoint. My snowball didn't pick up any extra snow. But, the biggest key is just learning to balance your budget well and to be realistic and to really, be on the same page with your spouse. Like so many Dave Ramsey callers, when they do their debt-free screams, they say that, communication with your spouse is the key. But really it is. Like, we could have cut the food budget way down if it was up to me. But the problem is, when we were looking at it in terms of US dollars, yeah, we'd have saved a lot of RMB, but in USD it would have made hardly any difference just because of the exchange rate. So, slashing the food budget would have made us both miserable, and it really would have maybe shaved 1 to 2 months off of the loan repayment tops. So I think it's wise to evaluate your budget. If there's a tiny category where, you or your spouse really wants to enjoy a tiny, tiny bit, within reason, where it's not going to slow you down significantly, then, give yourself a little grace.
Well, you were pretty focused on getting out of debt. From my experience, the English teachers over there, they either fall in one of 2 categories. They're there to party or sightsee or whatever, or they're there to get out of debt and to save money. And I think you definitely fell in that category because you were working, I think, if I'm right, that you only had to work 15 hours a week for your university job, but then you filled in the rest of the time with private tutoring, right?
Yeah, so that's something really interesting here. The university jobs, the maximum teaching hours for most are like 16 to 18 classes, but those are 45-minute classes, so it's only about 12 real hours a week. And so, yeah, we were just able to pick up all sorts of private tutoring things. And we had our own company for a while there. And so that was a really big boost. We were able to nearly double our income on the good years.
Well, what advice can you offer to people that are in your situation?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing, well, I'll offer 2 pieces of advice, one to Americans and one to expats. So, for people in our situation in America, just really get on a written game plan, a written budget, like have a plan for your money. Don't just look up at this giant dollar amount and think it's impossible. Yeah, our bills are different here, but still making, $20,000 to $30,000 a year average, we were able to pay off $62,000. So it's not impossible. It just might be slower. And then my advice for any other expats, if any listen to this, to really take advantage of your summer and winter. I saw so many friends spend the whole 2 months of their summer vacation back in the U.S., and that costs a ton of money, not to mention summer's the best time to work. There's so many camps. Like my university actually sponsors a bunch of the camps, and so we can easily make about $7,000 to $8,000 US dollars just in the 2 summer months, and that's an incredible amount of extra income.
Well, and I had a question I'm just curious about. How would you feel, because there's talk over here every once in a while that there'll be a federal bill to forgive at least part of student loans. if not all. Sometimes they set a cap, but nothing's passed that I'm aware of. But how would you feel if there was a federal law passed to forgive student loans after you've worked so hard to pay yours off?
Well, personally, I mean, I wouldn't feel that bad. I'm glad we went through what we went through, as tough as it was. But I think it's kind of shortchanging people because you're really just treating the symptom instead of the problem. It's not fair to ask taxpayers to fund the student loan process and then B, continue to ask taxpayers to fund it even more by forgiving these loans. I think it's better to reform the system in a variety of ways, but definitely to get rid of these federally funded student loans that allow people with, no income in college to go into mountains of debt.
So did you apply your stimulus check to paying off the debt?
I wish I could have. The short version is we still haven't gotten it yet due to just issues with, living abroad. But even once it comes, it's going to be difficult to deposit it because we don't have a joint checking account. Again, due to issues with being abroad, when I opened the account, it was on a solo trip to the States. So it's kind of a mess. Thankfully, the IRS says the checks are good for a year. So I'm sure we'll either visit or move within the next year and be able to deal with it then if we haven't found a solution in the meantime.
Well, don't give up on it. Everybody else got it, so you need yours too. I just want to thank you for sharing that information. I think it'll be interesting to everybody. I think there's a lot of people that are in your exact situation. So y'all have let's see, it's
I think so.
Go ahead. Well,
I was going to say, I think so. I really hope it helps encourage people because it's tough to do it, but it is so worth it to not have to worry about that hanging over your head for decades.
Okay, I was just going to say it's Saturday morning here, Saturday evening around, a little after 8 there. So you're on a holiday right now, aren't you?
Yeah, it's the China's National Day. It's, sort of like American Independence Day, except here it lasts 7 days instead of just 1. But
they make you work on the weekend before and after, so it's not really a holiday, right?
Yeah, that's kind of funny. A lot of their long holidays, they do that. So, yeah, we worked the Sunday before and we'll work the Saturday after, but then we get, actually this one, it's a double holiday, Mid-Autumn and National Day fell on the same day, so it's an 8-day holiday, but we have to work the Sunday before and the Saturday after, so it's kind of weird, but yeah, it works.
All right, well, thank you and have a good weekend.
All right, talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, I hope that was of interest to you. They worked really hard to get out of debt and for a long period of time. And so I'm glad it's over with. And I meant to ask how she thinks her attitude has changed or will change from saving to pay off a debt to saving to, buy a house or, put them in a better situation when they come back. But I forgot to ask that. Maybe she'll reply in the comments and answer that question. All right, y'all take care. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.